baddest agent of communication. From there, people will get to hear us and know what we are facing. But it's getting, day by day, and the problem is getting worse.
With the frustration of the students growing by day, the information minister said if government do not tend to speed up with the plans of meeting the lecturers' demands, he is afraid the union cannot hold on the students.
Yes, the students, their comments are really not pleasant, I might say. They're complaining that, it's 3 weeks and it's enough now. But we are trying our level best to calm them down, to understand that, doman neka kunko bang, like Mandinkas will say. We are trying to calm them down, let them understand that we are trying our level best and things will be solved, inshallah. And alhamdulillah, they are listening to us, they are following our programs, they are following whatever we are doing, they have been very patient. But if these things are not solved, it will go to a point, we ourselves as student leaders, I am afraid we might not stop the students because they will react anyhow they want to react.
The public relations officer of the School of Agriculture Students Union, Cherno Ojalo, urges the lecturers to come back to school to continue classes whilst negotiations are on the process as financial dealings cannot be done overnight.
The student union are making follow-ups. They went and make the academic staff association. They have also protocols have been taken to see the situation is remedy. But also these things are not be fixed overnight. They have to follow the due protocols because this involves what they call money issues. And by this time you find out what they call the budget. The budget has already been passed. So I think with the intervention of the Minister of Finance and the President, I think these things will be solved. But also I'm urging all the lecturers to go back to the classroom and teach while negotiations are going on to see how best to solve their problems.
On tour of the school campus, the ugly sides of the school surfaces as college built over half a century operates without proper sanitation, poor bedroom, abandoned houses invaded by bedbugs and insects, room leakages coupled with the bad smelling odor from the toilets make it uncomfortable for students to live and learn in the campus. Asanjai, the accommodation minister of the college, said the government have neglected the school, not considering the conditions of the school of the students in campus.
The living condition of our dormitory is so much terrible as at now. I can recall that this Gambia College dormitory is been neglected. It's totally been neglected. How can they neglect our dormitory? Just imagine the conditions in which our toilets are. Our toilets are so much appalling that its odor is bad totally. For once to enter there is so much bad.
He further said the mattresses used by the students have been in use for the past 25 years and its conditions needed change.
These mattresses has been here for more than 25 years, I can say it. Their hygienic is poor. Their quality is 0%, I can say it. And it has reached to the administration that we need mattresses in our dormitory so that one living condition can be good. We bring our own mattresses, buy it at the market, come with it. As the media have seen, the two mattresses have been compared to the media to see how the conditions are, and mats have been shown, floor, empty rooms have been shown that students come with their mattresses now.
Aminata Job, a student of the college, said the college runs without security as properties are stolen, which forced her to evacuate the premises. She said the college, which was once a heaven during the former government receiving monthly allowances and literally paying nothing for entrances, is now demanding for $21,000 to be paid to acquire admission.
$7,000, then all these 3 years is $21,000 in order for you to enter here. Now looking at our sisters who are from the rural area, they don't have that means. Our parents didn't have that for them to pay. What are the government waiting for? Why is the college privatized? Why is it that we are not given that due for us to do the work effectively as expected? And looking at this, currently we are in the month of Ramadan. Lecturers are not teaching accurately. Why? This is my question.
We understand that you certain years ago there was stipend given to students, but how is that situation?
There is nothing like stipend again. At least when we were here with the former government, people were receiving stipend, but now it's been stopped. But we don't know the reason, and we've been asking for it. Why? This is the question for the government. Why is the stipend stopped?
Of recent, the Gambia College has been faced with a couple of strikes and demonstrations since the coming of power of the new government. This latest of Gambia College lecturers sit-down strike have proven how the government of the Gambia neglects one of the fundamental pillars of our nation, education. Reporting from the college campus in Brikama, Sajo Sambu for Africa TV News.
Meanwhile, the Gambia College Students Union has issued a statement today to inform the general student body that there will be a peaceful demonstration on Wednesday, 15 May at Westfield Monument. All students of the Gambia College are urged to come out to grace this important event. Buses will be available at the Gambia College campus where we will converge at the hour cards and other logistics like permit and transport are worked out. Meanwhile, the and students will be informed when they get the permit. They urge all students to address the issue maturely as we are a tertiary institution. They must not allow their emotions to control them. China dismissed a suggestion that it would take part in talks with the United States and Russia about a new accord limiting nuclear arms, saying it would not take part in any nuclear disarmament negotiations. U.S. President Donald Trump said he and Russian President Vladimir Putin discussed the possibility of the new accord that could eventually include China in what would be a major deal between the globe's top three atomic powers. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Geng Shuang said the country's nuclear forces were at the lowest level of its national security needs and that they could not be compared to the United States and Russia. Al-Hassan Sise gives us more on that.
China announced yesterday that it was not interested in joining Russia-US talks on nuclear disarmament. China's unwillingness to negotiate the possibility of joining the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty was one of the main reasons of Washington's withdrawal from the agreement, as US President Donald Trump said his country was ready to preserve the agreement on the condition of Beijing's participation. Speaking at a news conference in Sochi, Sergei Lavrov, Chinese foreign minister, said that it kept its nuclear arsenals at a minimum level commensurate to its defense policy needs, especially as the situation on the Korean Peninsula remained uncertain. Commenting on another major arms control deal, the Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, Sergei Lavrov said he would discuss its extension with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo during the meeting slated for May 14 in Sochi. He said the Iran nuclear deal and Iranian nuclear program would be another topic on the meeting's agenda. Overcome this crisis surrounding the Iran nuclear deal, which was the result of their unilateral decisions. I look forward to a frank conversation with my colleague, he said. Last year, US President Donald Trump withdrew his country from a landmark 2015 nuclear deal between Iran and the P5+1 group of nations comprising of the 5 permanent UN Security Council members plus Germany. Shortly afterward, Washington reimposed economic sanctions on Iran targeting the country's energy and banking sectors. Both Lavrov and Wang slammed the U.S. economic sanctions, saying both countries did not accept the attempts to act in circumvent of the World Trade Organization rules. They also stressed that Russia and China share a position on non-interference in Venezuelan internal affairs. Reporting for iAfrica TV, I am Al-Hassan Sise.
The International Monetary Fund IMF Deputy Managing Director Mr. Tao Zhang yesterday called on President Adama Barrow at State House in Banjul. Their discussion centered on ways and means of strengthening the high level of support and cooperation between the international financial institution and the government of the Gambia.
His Excellency President Adama Barrow told a high-ranking delegation from the International Monetary Fund that economic development is meaningless without real impact on the lives of ordinary people. He made the remarks while receiving Mr. Tao Zhang, Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, who called on him yesterday at the State House in Banjul. According to the President, such philosophical disposition is the cornerstone of the economic policies of his government. The ordinary people do not understand the economic figures but real impacts on their lives, President Barrow said. The private sector also plays key role in employment creation. Hence, my government's priority is in reforms and strengthening institutions like the central bank so that they can effectively partake in sound macroeconomic management of the country. The President expressed political will and commitment in partnering with the IMF to ensure that ordinary Gambians feel the real impact of the political and economic progress being realized by his government. He was excited to have received the IMF team, stating that the visit was a proof that there is confidence in the economic management strategy of his government. He said that the IMF's presence in the country will also send a strong signal to the Gambia's development partners to continue their support to government. The closed-door discussion centered on ways and means of strengthening the high level of support and cooperation between the international financial institution the International Donor Conference for the Gambia held in Brussels in May 2018. The head of the IMF delegation described the meeting with President Barrow as a good one after an earlier meeting with Finance Minister in the morning. He said their mission was geared towards strengthening cooperation between the IMF and the Gambia. The most important thing is that we congratulate the authorities and the people of the Gambia on achievements registered over the past 2 years. We also encourage them to continue the path leading to prosperity down the road, Mr. Tao Zhang asserted. He said there is more that needs to be done from both sides, but the IMF is confident that the good cooperation between the two sides, together with other development partners, can achieve the objectives envisaged by the government. Reporting for iAfrica TV, I am Al-Hassan Sise.
That was Mr. Tao Zhang, Deputy Managing Director of the IMF, with President Adama Barrow on cooperation talks. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres arrived in New Zealand to begin his trip to the Pacific region from 12 to 18 May. Guterres is scheduled to visit New Zealand, Fiji, Tuvalu and Vanuatu to convey a very strong message from the Pacific to the rest of the world. Speaking to media in New Zealand capital Auckland alongside New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres expressed his solidarity with the victims and families of the March Christchurch mosque attacks, which killed 51 people, and praised Ardern's leadership in the aftermath of the killings.
To the community in Christchurch. Pay tribute to the extraordinary unity and to the message of solidarity that was given by the people and the government of New Zealand. But it is also a visit of gratitude, to express my deep gratitude to New Zealand for New Zealand's leadership in relation to the fight against climate change. And we are facing a climate emergency. Climate change is running faster than what we are. The last 4 years have been the hottest registered. We are seeing record levels both in the rise of temperature across the globe, in relation to the rising level of the oceans, and of concentrations of greenhouse gases in atmosphere. I'll be visiting Fiji, Tuvalu and Vanuatu and convey a very strong message from the Pacific to the rest of the world. We absolutely must catch up. We absolutely must be able to stop this dramatic trend, to reverse this dramatic trend. We cannot allow for a runaway climate change. We need to protect the lives of our people and we need to protect our planet.
The Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs is engaged in talks related to the hike in excise tax in alcoholic beverages from 10% to 75%. A press release by the government spokesperson reveals. The Finance Ministry has since been having fruitful talks with the National Assembly's Select Committee on Trade and the Sister Ministry of Trade to work out a lasting solution to these and similar matters, government spokesperson said in a press release asserted yesterday.
The Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs has stated that contrary to widespread allegations and confusion surrounding the new excise rates on alcoholic beverages, the tax is in fact part of the 2019 budget appropriation bill that was appropriately tabled and debated before the National Assembly during the 2019 budget sessions. According to a press release from the government spokesperson, the Finance Ministry did not unilaterally impose new taxes as is being alleged besides those approved in the 2019 budget appropriation. It was in this light that the ministry, through the approval of the National Assembly, revised the excise rates on domestic alcoholic beverages. These new tax rates came into effect in January 2019 and affect alcoholic beverages only. Finally, the ministry wishes to further inform the public and the business community in particular that it is more than committed to supporting businesses in overcoming challenges that affect their operations. In the light of these and conscious of the significant role businesses play in the Gambian economy, the Finance Ministry has since been having fruitful talks with the National Assembly Select Committee on Trade and the Sister Ministry of Trade to work out a lasting solution to these and similar matters. The government of the Gambia wishes to thank the operators in the sector for their usual support and cooperation.
Coming up after the break, on a joint invitation from His Excellency Emmanuel Macron, President of France, and Her Excellency Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister of New Zealand, President Macky Sall arrived in Paris to attend an international meeting on cybercrimes and extremists. Welcome back. We remind you that you're watching the World Today News Bulletin. We now take a look at from His Excellency Emmanuel and Her Excellency Jacinda on Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Mozilla Foundation, Snap, Twitter, etc. are expected to take meeting slated for May 15, initiated by New Zealand and France. The high-level international